Did you know over 60% of first-time clients do not return for a second visit? That is so painful, but it doesn't have to be that way. That's where Maya comes in. Maya is the ultimate marketing software for the beauty and wellness industry. We have a proprietary funnel utilizing special algorithms to help connect the right consumers with the right providers at your business. This means that Maya helps you get higher spending clients you love to work with who stay the long haul. If you want to increase your revenue, increase your client count, increase your average ticket, and increase your new client retention, then you need Maya. Go to joinmaya.com to set up your own personal virtual tour and see why over 500,000 consumers have trusted Maya and the businesses we work with to find their perfect beauty and wellness pro. We promise you will love Maya.
Thank you for joining me. This is Katie Whitledge with the Beyond the Technique podcast. Today, I have a brand new guest, probably my best looking guest of the year. We are talking about mastering the customer journey. I have Siobhan McCaffrey here, all the way from Ireland. She's now in the US. Of course, some of you already know who Siobhan is because she is one of the beauties that work with Phorest Salon Software, but she's brains as well. In fact, she is the strategic partnership development manager for Phorest. She's been with them since 2016, but that's not where she got her start in the industry. She's been in this industry since 2006. So she knows and loves, just like you, all things beauty industry. She's here today as my special expert guest on this customer journey. And without further ado, well, help me welcome Siobhan. Welcome to Beyond the Technique.
Thank you so much. So happy to be here.
We have too much fun behind the scenes with each other. It's just been awesome. And I'm really thankful that you're here. I actually didn't know that you've been in the industry that long. So for everybody listening who doesn't know you, please share with us, how did you decide to get in the beauty industry, and tell us a bit about your journey?
Yeah, I'd love to. It was a pure fluke. And I feel like that's my entire life, flukes, and I just get luckier and luckier with them. I was actually in college and I needed a part-time job, and a friend of a friend ran a salon and they wanted someone to work on their front desk. So that's how I got my start. So I was doing engineering in college. I was the only girl in the class, so very male dominated. And then at the weekends, I was working in a salon, and I'm sure you can imagine which of the two I preferred. So that was kind of the kickoff for me.
Wow, I had no idea. So you literally have started really from the ground up.
Yes, like literally the part-time girl on the front desk, and worked my way up there over the years. I left college, and there was no way I was going to do engineering once I found my true calling, which was the salon industry. And yeah, I ended up in that salon for nearly 10 years. And fun fact, they were actually one of Forrest's first customers.
No way. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is an Irish salon,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, it
you
was a med spa style versus hair, but a little bit more on the aesthetic side, which I loved. It's where I found my love for Botox as well. So everything came full circle in that spot.
we're like 20s forever because
Always.
we appreciate all the tools in our tool belt that this industry has to offer. So,
Absolutely, absolutely.
oh my gosh, well, you are beautiful. If you, for the engineering, so this means you're also simultaneously brilliant with math. Am I right with this?
I'm never going to pretend I'm brilliant with anything, but I can do a few sums.
Well, I do behind the scenes. I know that you track that data, and I appreciate that. And so do the salon owners and the companies that work with you. You are very smart. And so I love that about you. And I know that people appreciate that when they work with you. So Siobhan, you joined Forest in 2016. What
Yeah.
brought you into that company, and what has that been like for you?
I mean, I bullied my way in is the way I look at it. I don't even think they were hiring at the time. And I had moved from the original salon I was working to another one. And then I decided to go into banking. So I went and did all my tests next. I said, oh, let's do the like 9 to 5. And I'm just not a 9 to 5 girl. I figured that out fairly quickly. And though like it wasn't even a full year I did that for, but I did all my tests. The math side of it helped me, thank God. Got through that, and I was like, no, I need to go back to my roots. So I thought, okay, so technical and beauty. How the heck am I going to find that in a job? And then I went, oh, Eureka. So reached out to Forest and started working on their technical support team a million years ago now. It'll actually be my ninth anniversary there coming up in actually the week after this will be out, which is exciting. And that's how I got my foot in the door, by sticking my foot in the door and wedging it
Yeah.
open.
Hey, congratulations on that. And by the way, just like a top tip for women listening who want bigger, better things for your life, sometimes you do have to shove that foot into the door and pry your way open and not give up on it after the first three times, right? So good for you. I think that is like a whole talk itself we could get into um for people who really want and desire growth for themselves. So very inspiring. Okay, and now fast forward to today. How do you help Forest and like what does that mean you do for the industry today?
Yeah, so I've worked in every role that there's going in Forest at this stage. I'm a jack of all trades, master of nothing, but I've learned enough nuggets along the way to be able to get to where I am now. So, right now what I'm doing is I'm working with a lot of amazing companies such as Maya, Vish, and L'Oreal, and Salon Centric, and we're seeing how can we level up the industry. And I'm lucky that I get to work with, learn so much every single day. I feel like every day I go in and I'm like, oh, I think I've got a grasp on it. And then I'm like, oh no, five new things that have challenged my thinking, which I absolutely love. Nothing, what is it they say? Like, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Well, I've never felt like the smartest person in the room. So I'm in the right spot, I think.
Wow, it's amazing. And you do have this incredible understanding now of mastering the customer journey. And now that I know that you worked at a front desk, even more so, like you've seen this from every angle. So when owners are listening right now and they really want to take their customers' journey to the next level, what does that look like? And let's start from the very beginning. So they're not even your customer yet. What does that mean to salons who are really trying hard to grow their business right now in 2025?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to just keep on harping on around Forest, but unfortunately for the listener, that's kind of all of my experience has always been with Forest. I mean, it starts at like learning who the salon was. Like, so who is it? Like your customer, how do they find out about you? It was always word of mouth, but actually social media has tipped that 66% of people are finding out about salons through social media, and that's the first time it's ever been higher than any other way. So right now it's finding out about a salon, be it through social media ads or Google, or I mean, I know that you are very familiar with the meta ads and that side of things. And Forest, we integrate with meta ads. So getting your like perfect customer and getting in front of them is the big thing right now to get them to even know who you are.
Well, let me just point out you put the responsibility of that in the hands of the salon owner, which means we just because we have a presence on social media doesn't mean we're getting 66% of our new customers from social media. So you're right. It does take, we're at a point where we have to pay to play. Would you agree with that?
100%. Yeah. 100.
So Forrest does have a pretty cool tool here where, and I think you're the only ones in this industry that have an actual ad management system right through your software. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things we've ever launched. So thank you for letting me talk about it. So we have it's called Forest Ads Manager, and basically what it does is we're fully integrated with Meta. And what that means, it's a full circle platform. So it's not just you can find an audience, which of course you can do. You find your audience, but depending on what you want to do, do you want to get new customers? Do you want to upsell to your existing clientele, or those people that have slipped through the cracks and maybe they're a lost customer? We have these three different ways to reach out and get these customers for you. So new customers is always the hardest thing to get your hands on. What we can do is we can look at your database and see who are your best customers, who are your best clients, and you just want more of them. You wish you could put them in and just multiply them. Well, what we figured out is a way to go into Forest, get all of their information, and then capture that information and put it into Meta and find you a lookalike audience for those customers. We'll also make sure that they're not already in your database, because you don't want to be putting money against somebody that you've already captured. So we will find these people, we will show them an ad, be it a reel or an image, or it can be on Facebook or Instagram. And generally, the videos are the ones that perform the best. And we will just market to people that are not yet on your books. So when they see that ad, there's always like a click or like a CTA, a little call to action, whether it's book now or call us, whatever it may be. A lot of the time, people will see it, and then that's not the thing that actually hooks them. They might see that and then they go, "Oh, I think my friend Joan goes there." And then they'll go meet Joan for a coffee and then she'll say, "Oh, I do." They say, "Okay." And then they Google the salon and then they call you. Well, when that happens, Meta doesn't know that that ad has had anything to do with that sale. But with Phorest, because there's a unique identifier that we both use, being at a phone number. So when you book in to Phorest, you're going to say, "Hey, I'm Siobhan, I'm 267 12345," and the system's going to register, actually, we did show them an ad. So it's not just when somebody uses that click, because it's not just seeing an ad once that gets a sale. And it would be amazing if it did, but it's not. And when that happens full circle, and even if it's not through that CTA, we can still attribute that ad to part of the reason why that customer came in. So you get a real idea of what your ROI is.
Okay, so for owners listening, this sounds like there's some complexities to this. And the answer is yes. And if you are not willing to step into the new digital age of how we need to grow a business, then unfortunately, there is no progress to be had. So this is not an option. But what is very cool is this is a done for you platform. So you don't have to actually figure it all out, but you do have to have trust. And what I do appreciate about your platform is that you do tie in. It's the only thing out there. Because I know owners who are spending hundreds a month with agencies and they don't actually know, did this work or not? And to your point, who does know that? But Forrest does show you, hey, this person has been tied to this ad preview and now they're coming to do business. You can expect to make this amount of money. I've not seen that anywhere else. I'm here for it because it's marketing and I love all things marketing. So congratulations to you guys. And Maya plays like a little baby hand in this role of being that special sauce for the call to action within those ads. It's the only part we play and we help salons in that way. But together, those have been, and we've done a case study together, one of the most high performing marketing initiatives that any salons have done through doing meta ads. So first and foremost, my takeaway from you, you can't just sit back and wait for customers to find you. You have to be aggressive and go after the people that you want. And then Forest offers the way to do it. What else would you like to add to that?
You touched on it there. So, like marketing, I love this quote. Marketing is half of it works and half of it doesn't, and you just have no idea which half is which. With all of the tools that Forest has to offer, we always give you reports upon what has or hasn't worked, so you actually know if your marketing dollars are working for you. So it tries to, that guesswork is taken out of it. And thank you for mentioning, we try and make something very complex and something that's usually reserved for huge businesses like Amazon and Tesla and like all the like Apple, all these enormous businesses that have these huge marketing budgets. You wouldn't think that we actually have access to the same sort of technology that they do. So we try and make it that it's we're giving the smaller independent businesses the opportunity to market like the big boys.
Yes. Yep. I love it. So the customer is on the books. One of the special things that we have for you, if you're listening, you have to stay for this, but we have a free event coming up. And it's free for you, but you got to stay till the end, and then you'll find out how you can get in on this event that Forrest and Maya are putting on together to help you with your customer journey. Okay, so hang in there because I want you and your marketing leaders to join this special opportunity. So, what happens with Forrest and the booking? Now, the next piece of the puzzle to the customer journey. What would you recommend for owners?
So I mean, frankly, you want to make sure that you're touching, but you're not just it's not a done deal just when the appointment is in the book, because so many things that can happen, so many things can happen in life for the client that hasn't come in yet. They might forget about the appointment. You know, you need to make sure that you're keeping in touch with them. You want to make sure that what they booked in for is the perfect thing. So we know we've put them with the perfect person because we've got Maya, but have we booked them in for the perfect thing? We want to make sure that everything is looking good. We want to give them the pre and post care. So depending on what service they're in for, maybe you're sending them a pre-appointment form that they're going to fill out to say, I understand that this service will require maintenance. I understand that this will require home care. Asking questions of the guest. Would you like to hear more about how to keep your color more vibrant for longer? Like, you're getting extensions, you're paying 2 grand on this hair. Do you want to make sure that you're looking after it properly? And asking questions like that will also help funnel how the conversations will go when they're sitting in the chair. Like, giving the stylist the opportunity to feel comfortable bringing up home care, which is notoriously a very difficult thing for people to bring up. And I mean, retail to service is a number that everyone wants to bulk up. So by talking to them about these things and setting the expectation from the customer side that we are going to talk to you about these things, because it doesn't end when you're in the chair. You need to make sure that you're keeping your hair in good condition, so the next time you come in, we can build upon it if that's what the service calls for. Or if it's extensions, we want to make sure that we can just move them up and we don't have to take out your wefts and put in whole new ones because you've dried them out because you haven't used oil. So we want to make sure that we're setting the standard for what the customer can expect.
You know what? I don't know if we have this data point. I'm truly not trying to put you on the spot because I'm curious, but in the e-commerce world, it's considered success if you have up to 1% close rate on the cart, meaning a customer goes, they're shopping around, they build items into their cart. If 4% of them close, meaning they buy what's in their cart at all, that's successful. To me, that's wild. That means 96% of people did not buy from you that have been playing around in building a cart. So for our world, I would be curious to know. I know Forest has got to have this somewhere at some point. What does that look like on average? Like, okay, let's say I'm an existing client. Do we know percentages of the number of rebooks that a existing client? Because I know my own habits, and I probably average about 1 rebook a month at some place that I consistently do business with because of my schedule. I would also be curious about new clients.
Mm.
And the reason for that is I went to this marketing event and the educator talked about how everybody feels like they're getting ghosted nowadays. And even if they put a credit card in to reserve the appointment, which is wild. And credit card companies, you know how owners despise this, right? Where you do the charge and then you get the notification of a chargeback saying the customer said they never have received these services. And then you got to take hours and hours of your admin time to go fight this, which Forest has a great tool, by the way, to help owners with this. We should talk about that. But I would be curious to know what percentage of new people go to book and then actually abandon the booking. Do we have any stats on either existing or new for that?
Not necessarily that specifically. You've brought up a few things that I definitely have stats
Yeah.
for. So you mentioned stats around the like abandoned cart side of things when it comes to retail. 82% of clients want to buy from your salon. They don't want to buy from a third party. They want to buy from you, which is should give stylists a little bit of armor to say, okay, look, 4 out of 5 people want me to talk to them about. At worst, I'm getting a like a 1 out of 5 don't want to talk to me. So like I'm gonna hedge my bets. So even if you don't implement the form, like hedge your bets. Chances are they do want to have a chat with you. You're the expert. Like they're learning from you as you're having these conversations. You also mentioned rebooking there, and it's funny you say exactly that because we have the stats. Now this is America overall. And I would like to say that I actually don't love looking that broadly. I prefer looking a little bit more closely. Like you want to compare apples with apples and not apples to oranges. So, I mean, if you're in Wisconsin, like the behaviors of clients in Wisconsin might be different to those in New York. So you want to make sure that like what your averages are relevant to your locale and your type of business and your number of staff members. But for now, I'm going to actually go against that and give you very broad numbers and can let you know that the average in the United States for new client retention is only 33%. And that is unfortunate. The top 25 salons that we looked at in that cohort, being the top 25 salons here in North America for that particular KPI. So the ones that were the best within that specific KPI, it was 48%. So that's still a 50-50 loss. And when you compare that to existing client retention, it's 63 for all of North America and 81 for the top percentages. And when you circle that all the way back, when you think about it, who is getting your new customer? Think of how hard we've worked to get these customers. We've done all of our ads. We've used Maya. We've done everything. We finally got bums in seats. And then they're not retained. Like, it's crazy. And a lot of the reason for that is that they're typically going in with a newer customer, or beg your pardon, a newer staff member, because they're the ones that have the white space on their books. And they're the ones I can get in quicker. Like, I can get you in with the girl that's only got 6 months on the floor because she hasn't built up a clientele. You might be an incredible customer to us if I retain you, but I put you in, she's too scared to talk about retail. She's too scared to tell you when you should rebook because she hasn't been coached to it yet. One of the things that I'm going off on a tangent here, but I feel very passionately about, one of the things that I love in Phorest is that you can really coach to these sort of numbers. So if I have a staff member and their new client retention isn't where it needs to be, I can turn them off for online booking for new customers. So you're not going to get anybody new in your seat. You're only going to be able to retain the people you've already got because your retention for new customers isn't where it needs to be. So I can switch that on or off depending and coach to that. Um, I've gone on such a tangent now. I forget what you last asked me. I'm sorry.
No, but you know what? You are bringing up a massive point, which is none of it matters if the technician providing the service isn't trained beyond the technique. Okay. So the things that matter beyond the technical aspects of being behind the chair, customers typically don't know if they have a good haircut or a great haircut. They don't, there's like a 10% sway of like, oh, was this, but I do know if the person performing the service is not confident at all, and then I feel insecure about them working on me. I can tell if they actually care or if they're pretending. I can tell if they feel like they're an expert and they have a desire to guide me or if they don't. And I care if they're thoughtful in what they're pulling for products to use on me. And by the way, you and I are the dream clients who are like, I'm going to buy what you tell me to. Just tell me. If you tell me I need this sold, I'll take it home and I'll do it. Right? We are
Absolutely.
so yeah.
100%.
So that does actually point to two things. I know owners and they want to get their team on the floor as quickly as possible because it costs so much not to.
Yeah.
And then how do we get them good enough, quick enough to where they are delivering that like master level communication and sales results until they put in the time to build up their craft? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's tough, especially if you're in a bigger salon, and we're in some huge salons and they can have 20 new stylists on the floor across a few locations. And it's next to impossible to keep on top of. We have designed a lot of reporting and functionality within Phorest to try and take the onus off the single manager trying to chase all of these. It's like herding cats when you have so many people you need to look after, and somebody might be performing well on one thing and not the other, and it could be vice versa with some other people. So you've always got to try and keep on top of these things. So we have functionality in Phorest called staff performance. And that gives the staff members access to their typical high KPIs. So your rebooking, your service, your retail, your reviews, all these typical things that you're going to want to keep on coaching to. And around that, you can actually set goals. So I could set you a goal to say, I want to see your rebooking percentage go from 50 to 60%. And I can set a goal, I can set a window. Phorest will actually send push notifications to that staff member to be like, way to go, you're halfway there, or like 3 days to go. And based on how they score, they'll get a little like a badge. And if you've done amazingly, it's a unicorn. And if you didn't do too well, it's a sad cat. And little gamified things that can really help with coaching to take the pressure off the owner. And then of course you can see it from a high level, like in a a dashboard. But it gives that like personal coaching to the staff member without you having to chase them around and be like, okay, I've done your numbers. You just get one more retail item to hit your units this month. The system is going to do that for you to give you a little bit of peace as an owner.
I think it's brilliant. And I love that you have the feature where it's like you actually don't get opened up for online booking until you hit this certain retention to have those controls. I
Yeah.
think that's really, really cool. We've gotten through the service, and let's assume we did knock it out of the park and that client even went home with product. What happens next that really helps solidify the relationship so that customer is somebody who will become a returning, ongoing customer?
Absolutely. So we have a few different ways of doing this. So let's say they didn't rebook. We have a little message that goes out and says, hey, Siobhan, you didn't rebook today. Here's a link to what you had today. Make sure you book in. Our diaries are filling up fast. And everything that I had today will be in this cart, essentially, that will allow me just to book it directly. So it'll already have filled in all the service of I've had, like the highlight, the root smudge, the toner, the trim, the K18, all the little things that I've added in, it'll have them all ready to go for me. So giving your clients the opportunity to book super easily after the fact is huge. 32% of customers that didn't rebook on the day want to do so online after the fact. So make it easy for them. And we try and do that. Let's say they did rebook, and either way, whether they rebooked or not, you're going to get a little feedback question to say, how was your service today? So I'm going to ask you, how did you find our service today? Rate us between 1 and 5 stars. Let's say it's a 5-star review, that's going to get pushed straight to Google. If it's not a 5-star review, don't worry, you still receive it as an owner and you can use it for a coaching. But it's going to allow new customers to find you because it's going to increase that SEO. It's going to have you higher on the Google ranking, all that good stuff. Get them booked in. And we're integrated with Google, so you can do the online booking through Google very easily through Phorest, which is really nice. Um, you mentioned one other thing. Oh, it escapes me now. Sorry.
Well, I just wanted to bring up that I do love your feedback loop because it becomes a full circle journey when you are obtaining that 5 stars and it does push to Google because you quickly said how it's SEO, but that is magic. Like if I'm a customer and I'm searching on Google for a hair salon near me, which no matter what with Chat GPT at this point, it cannot replace Google Maps. And with that and my location and proximity, it's still going to be a very, very highly used platform. And so if I want to see the proximity of a location, now I'm going to compare the name of the salon and what I see for reviews first before I even dive into the website. So for you to have that tool that helps build that up is massive. I mean, salons pay thousands a month to agencies to help build up their search engine optimization. And you have a feature to push and build up the social proof necessary to be chosen by new customers. So, applause for you on all of that. I think what I love is that you think about the whole picture and not every company that provides a booking software and reporting and all that does, because you want your salons to be very successful and sustainable in this industry. So I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. The third thing that had just slightly escaped me there was loyalty programs. So you want to make sure that you're getting your customers enrolled in whatever loyalty program you have. So Forest has one fully integrated in the system, and it has like good behavior bonus points. So things like if you do a social media review, you're going to get bonus points. And if you rebooked on the same day and already have your appointment pre-booked, when you come in the next time, you're going to get bonus points for that. And we also have a digital referral program as well. So when somebody's coming to you for the first time, you can enroll them. They'll get their own special link. That link, if they share it with friends and family, they can get a kickback. So you can do like $20 for the referrer and the referee, and those things will they'll actually go out of date as well. So it puts a bit of a timeline on it as well. So you can say this will only last 3 months or will only last 6 months. And it puts a little sense of urgency for both parties to get that service booked in.
You've thought of everything. It's so awesome. And for everybody who's listened this long, I want you to know right now is your chance. I'm going to share the free gift that we have for you. We have a free event coming up, and I want you to join us on June 9th at 3 p.m. Eastern. I have the link in our show notes for a free web event because you're hearing all this and you're like, can I just see what you mean? Can I see what you're talking about? And the answer is yes. We knew that you would want to see this in action. So Siobhan and I are going to come together to do a web event on this customer journey from clicks to the chair, how to master the customer buying journey. June 9th, 3 p.m. Eastern. Get your marketing team signed up. Get your front end operation, guest services team signed up. The owner, everybody needs to get in on this event. And that sign up page is in our show notes right now. Her and I are going to co present that event. But here's what's cool. It's going to be mostly Phorest because we're going to show you what does Phorest mean when they say they do this and what does that look like. Maya is a little piece of that puzzle, but I think you're going to be over the moon to see what Phorest Salon Software is capable of and what they automate. And I am here for it. This is going to be good. What do you think, Siobhan?
Very excited. Very excited.
Before we're done, if you could share with owners listening today, final words of wisdom as they work so hard. And I know, like, just they want to be great. If you're listening to this show, it's because you want to be great at running your business. What would you want to share with them today?
It feels like every day is probably changing because like the standards and what the new thing is, it changes all the time. You finally master something and then there's another thing coming around the corner. It's like everyone just got comfy sent doing Instagram posts and then TikTok showed up. Unfortunately, that's always going to be the case. So make sure that every day is a school day and that you are absolutely keeping on top of things, and listening to things like this podcast are so important, because if you're not doing that, you might get left behind slightly and you don't want to have to play catch up. You always want to make sure that you're on top of things, and your wonderful podcast is a brilliant resource for people. So yeah, keep learning.
I love it. Keep learning, lifelong learners. Well, thank you so much for being with me today. I thoroughly always enjoy being around you. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you all for joining us here week after week. If you love Beyond the Technique, please take a moment to leave us a 5-star review wherever you're listening so that more people like yourself will discover Beyond the Technique, where we're here to change the way that you are supported in your business. Until next time, everybody, have an awesome day and stay strong.